Radio Cayman News.
The murder trial shifted today from the prosecution to the defense.
AI is developing at a phenomenal pace.
The next stage is for the Development Plan Appeals Tribunal to prepare its report.
Bringing together more than 200 people focused on disability inclusion in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
7 days a week.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman, your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. I'm excited for today's discussion. We are continuing our national conversation on the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey, which for the first time in over a decade gives us a detailed snapshot of the health of the Cayman Islands. Today's interview is the fourth in our 5-part series, and we're getting into the action of things, focusing on the Step into Wellness campaign's Move It Challenge. Our first 3 interviews, they look closely at the largest threats in non-communicable disease for the Cayman Islands. We talked about the report's findings on hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. You can search through Radio Cayman's YouTube page for The Buzz if you want to catch the first 3 discussions, and if you'd like to access the report, which you should because we're going to be talking about it today again and next Tuesday, visit gov.ky/steps to view and download the report. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey reported some concerning statistics for Cayman, some of which are really starting to mean I'm very surprised by. The data saying 70% of residents are overweight or obese. 1 in 4 adults have hypertension. 1 in 4 adults have never had their blood sugar taken. And I think it's just around 14% of the population eats no fruits or vegetables. Why does that concern you? You might be asking. Well, only 2.5% of the population will not be developing any non-communicable disease, meaning 97.5% of us will develop a chronic illness or disease in life. And that stat scares me just a little bit. So the question today is, what happens after the report? We know Cayman loves to do reports, but we don't always know what happens right after the report has been published. So what action is being taken? What policies, programs, and national strategies are now being rolled out to address these risk factors and improve the health of the nation? Joining me this morning is the Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, the Honourable Katherine Ebanks-Wilks, along with the Chief Nursing Officer, Felicia, McLean, as we take a deeper look at what the government plans to do with the findings from the STEPS survey. So good morning, ladies, and welcome to The Buzz.
Morning.
It's good to have you. It's great to have you back on, Minister. It's been a while, I was just saying.
Good to be back with you, and we need to make it happen more often.
We will.
So we'll work on that after the show.
Absolutely, we will. That's a promise I'm going to hold you to.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. We always like to give a little bit of background for our listeners who might not have yet heard about this survey, which I think would be pretty bad if you hadn't heard about it yet. So if you can tell us exactly what the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey is and why it's such an important tool for understanding the health of the country.
You know, you saying it would be really bad if they haven't. I guarantee you, every time I sit in the room and have a stakeholder meeting, there are still hands that go up and says, I've not heard about the STEPS survey. So we can say it as long as we want to, because I think there's always still someone in the room. So basically, the STEPS survey is based off of a WHO standard in regards to a methodology looking at a cohort that's selected that represents the population. So you're taking Cayman's population, looking at that smaller cohort, which was 3,300 people that were then surveyed in regards to this STEPS survey. And it's called STEPS because there's 3 steps to it. But it's basically giving us a tool that helps us understand non-communicable diseases and our risk factors that would be affecting our population. The STEPS survey has 3 steps to it. So first step is your self-reporting. So the person's going to tell us how they've, a numerator went in and asked them, how much do you exercise, how much do you eat, have you taken your blood pressure, is kind of like what is their knowledge about their health and their information. Then step 2 looks at physical measurements, so height, weight, and blood pressure, which gives us a little bit more information on how their health is actually doing. And then the third step required going in and taking cholesterol and blood glucose, which we were really, really happy about this particular time around, because back when we did the STEP survey back in 2012, thank you. Back in 2012, we weren't able to do step 3. There's a lot of people that are still afraid of needles. So we were really, really happy this time we were able to get our community to support us and see that through. And we've gotten some really interesting data from it. Now, what I will say in comparison to 2012 is we haven't gotten a whole lot worse, but we haven't gotten any better either. So we knew our work was cut out for us. But data is power. Understanding what's happening in our community. Some of the statistics you already shared was really informative in regards to what do we do next to help our Caymanian community get healthier, help reduce those risk factors for NCDs, and hopefully live longer, healthier lives.
Now, you explained the survey was it focused on non-communicable diseases. Can you explain what those are? Yeah, so non-communicable diseases are diseases that aren't passed from person to person. They can be affected by the environment. You can have some genetics, some physiological conditions within your body, but basically the long and short of it is they're not diseases you catch like a common cold from other people. It's stuff that's either in your environment or your makeup that causes you to be at risk for these chronic diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic kidney failure, chronic lung failure, all of these chronic ailments that people have based on their lifestyle or their genetic makeup. Okay, excellent. How has the data and information shaped the ministry's priorities when it comes to addressing the nation's health? And I ask this because 2023 was when the survey was done. Mm-hmm. December 2024 it was published. Mm-hmm. We know that there was a change in government, and we know, Minister, you had a different ministry that you were in charge of then, right. And now you've acquired health. Mm-hmm. So the ministry's changed a little tiny bit, but you've acquired health. So you're now the Minister for Health. So in understanding this report has been done, it's been published, you know that this is a huge part of what your focus is in the ministry. So how has it really shaped your priorities so far in the ministry?
Well, I think that going back to your comment you made earlier about what makes this any different than most reports would be the implementation. So the movement challenge is essentially the implementation of the STEP survey by us getting out and doing something about it. And with that in mind, this movement challenge is on the top of our priority list in the ministry. Our aim was to have it. Initially, we wanted to start it before the end of the first quarter, but realistically I didn't realize until speaking with Chief Nursing Officer how much work went into the planning and the public education in order for us to get full buy-in. And I must say I'm glad that we did wait until we start the very beginning of the end of March, right? Yeah, so the 29th of March. Because we have now gotten buy-in from many of the other ministers. So it's certainly worth the wait. And, this series that Felicia has been coming on and talking to you about educating the public on the why. Why do we need to do this? Certainly, I think is very important. But the fact that we're rolling it out so early into 2026 should send a message to the public that this is a top priority for the ministry.
I like the timing of it as well, because when you think about a new year, everybody has these fitness and health goals, right? And they're usually on it for about 5-6 weeks and then they drop off.
You're right. Yeah. That's actually one of the reasons why I initially said, let's just start at the beginning of the year and then everybody can start with the momentum. But I think that this is probably now where most people are starting to plateau, where they're like, okay, I'm not gonna. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a renewed effort to get everybody moving.
Yes, I love it. It's that keeping that momentum up.
Correct.
So you might have hit that plateau, but we're going to have this challenge, so we're going to give you something else to aim for, which I like. Mm-hmm. So the survey I already asked that question. If you can, CNO, give us some of the key stats revealed in the reports. I know I shared a couple of them earlier in my intro.
Yeah. So some of the key facts, we recognize that 70%, as you mentioned, of our population, which is overweight or obese, which is a huge one for us. I mean, that is, I think, probably the biggest eye-opener. What I will say, though, is that we're not unique within the world. The numbers are relatively high around the world, but that doesn't mean we have to stay in that population. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to look at addressing that. We also recognize that 1 in 3 persons have high blood pressure, and our stats also showed us that only 58% of them are controlled with the medication. So even out of that population that know they have high blood pressure, it's not properly controlled. We also recognize that only 20% of the population meets the WHO standard. There's 20% of the population that doesn't meet the WHO standard in regards to physical activity. So you actually kind of like, what are we doing with this STEPS survey? The STEPS survey gave us information so that we can move into stepping into wellness. So the ministry is actually doing a 4-part stepping into wellness initiative. Step 1 is movement. Trying to get us to move to being healthier. And then we're hoping to look at our nutritional plate. So what are we eating and looking at that. Then going into mindfulness, because mental health has a key component in regards to our overall health, how we think about things, how we address things. And then last but not least is more knowledge, because knowledge is power. So letting that feedback into it, ensuring that our population understands why they're doing what they're doing, and hopefully making that sustain. So just kind of shifting the behavior is our goal. But yeah, we've got lots of great information. I could stay here all week, every day, giving you everything in there. If you haven't seen it, I really encourage people to just hit gov.ky/steps, and that will give them the STEPS survey results if they're looking for it. But yeah, there's too much information to go in, but a lot of really interesting data.
A lot of interesting data, and we've shared that in our first 3 interviews, so people can always go back and check out those interviews as well, because there was a lot. You've definitely schooled me on things and made me kind of be like, okay, I've got to change some things, because I've realized that I carry some of those risk factors, and there's 5, and I know you like to throw up your hand,
I like to throw up my hand.
and there's kind of 5 risk factors that are out there, the top 5 identified in Cayman that lead us to non-communicable disease. Can you list those 5 risk factors?
Yeah, they're more than the 5, but I like the 5 because they're an easy one to remember. So activity is number 1 risk factor. If we're inactive, we're not moving, it's going to affect our health and wellness. If we eat unhealthy, as we said with the stepping into wellness, if you're not eating correctly, if you're eating junk or not eating at all or eating too much, that's going to affect it. If you smoke tobacco, and even the vapes, as we talked about a couple sessions back, that's also not good for you. That's going to affect your risk factor. If you drink too much alcohol, that's going to affect it as well. And actually, the new WHO standard says there's no right amount of alcohol, believe it or not. It's not good for you. And then last but not least, knowing your measurements. So ensuring you don't have high blood pressure or diabetes. And those are things that you can control, or at least know what they are and control them. So those are that 5 things. If we look at targeting them, and I'm really, really proud and grateful to be a part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, because health, environment, sustainability, because Minister Kathy is a huge supporter of looking at those 5 things. And from there, we have 2 things coming out of the ministry, which is 1, the hearts, which you'll hear about more later in regards to managing high blood pressure, because that's key. So if we manage to deal with hearts, and if we manage to get movement going and change that activity, we've taken out 2 of our risk factors out of 5 and reducing our chances of getting a non-communicable disease by that 2% of that 5. So I mean, it's a really big thing, and the ministry is behind it and supporting. Our government is behind it and supporting, which is huge. So I'm hoping that our community recognizes how much we value them and we care for them. And this is just one way we're looking at trying to help Cayman be healthier.
One of the greatest ways you value yourself is how you take care of yourself.
So true.
Yeah. And a lot of the time we put ourselves on the back burner, and the last thing that we do is take care of ourselves. But we can't pour from an empty cup, right? So I do love the initiative in encouraging people to take care of themselves, take care of your health, know what your numbers are. Minister, for you, after reviewing the STEPS survey, what findings concerned you the most?
Well, I think the one that really concerned me the most was the percentage of persons who are obese in Cayman. I fell in that bracket. And
maybe overweight, not quite obese.
Overweight,
yeah.
sorry, or obese, sorry. Yeah, but I think I fell in the obese
I fell
bracket
overweight
as well. When I measured my BMI, I was like, woo, you're obese, girl.
Yeah, same.
And when we look at non-communicable diseases, obesity is one of the key areas. I'm not the nurse in the room, but my little bit of research, and having family members who have, succumbed to illnesses that started from, diabetes, I think that's what concerns me the most. Is I feel that we have a great opportunity with having this, as Felicia said, this knowledge with getting out and telling the community that one of the ways that you can live a longer, healthier life is by managing your weight, getting out and being active with your families, or even if it's just you or your pets. And then the other one is hypertension. And I think, again, that works hand in hand, getting out and going for a walk on the beach. It does something to your stress levels. It brings down your blood pressure, right? I was gonna say blood glucose, but it does that as well.
It does that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were probably the few that jumped out at me the most, and that's why I'm so excited and happy to be, I guess, a champion of the challenge, and so are some of my other colleagues from cabinet. So looking forward to having more display with them to the public.
All right. We're going to go to our first commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to learn a whole lot more about the Step Into Wellness campaign.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Beverly Adma Habib Banks, Certificate of Honor, 1940.
Miss Bev works tirelessly for the betterment of humanity, and in particular, the Cayman Islands. The wife of Dale Morrison Banks and the mother of 4 has served her homeland in myriads of ways. As a founder and long-serving executive member of Cayman Against Substance Abuse, as a chairperson of Roundtable 4, Vision 2008, as a member of the local Spiritual Assembly of Baha'is of West Bay, vice chairperson of the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, and a member of the Regional Baha'i Council of the Cayman Islands, as Vice President of the Business and Professional Women's Club, and Chairperson of the BPW's 16 Days of Activism Against Domestic Abuse Silent Witness Program, as a member of the National Committee Against Domestic Abuse, as a member of the Board of Directors of the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and a member of the Health Services Strategic Planning Team.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Saturday, April 18th, will be the gathering of the future. The gathering of budding scientists, budding botanists, budding engineers, budding medical specialists, marine biologists, systems architects, and much, much more. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy's Science Fair will be at the Arc Commander Bay, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The gathering of the future. Students from over 15 schools across Cayman. Save the date, April 18th. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair, sponsored by CUC, supported by the Cayman Motor Federation. Sign up today. RotaryScienceFair.ky. The future is sparking.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
The UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
And Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
What matters most to you right now? The cost of living, housing, jobs, healthcare, safety? The Cayman Islands government has set 7 national priorities for 2026 to 2028, focused on areas that affect daily life, from preparing Caymanians for opportunity, to improving quality of life and social stability, to strengthening Cayman's long-term resilience. Learn more about the 7 broad outcomes at gov.ky/priorities. 7 priorities, 1 Cayman.
The Buzz.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey, more so about the Step Into Wellness campaign that kicks off with the Move It Cayman National Challenge. In studio with me, I have Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, the Honourable Katherine Ebanks-Wilks, and Chief Nursing Officer Felicia McLean. The ladies were just telling us a little bit of the background of what the STEP survey was all about. The minister just gave her review on what the most concerning finds were in that survey. And I want to know, really, CNO, when it comes to the survey and Cayman's biggest health risks, where do they lie?
So that's a really good question. So while the survey didn't specify the #1 cause of death, if we take the 1 in 3 with high blood pressure, and we then take the ESO study for the Cayman Islands in that regards, what we did find was the #1 cause of death from that is cardiovascular disease. So high blood pressure leading into cardiovascular disease and having that. So that is truly our biggest one. But the steps didn't do it completely. But if you pair the two together, looking at what were the risk factors, what people were reporting, and then what the actual data shows, that's our biggest one. And so we definitely need to look at controlling our blood pressure, which is the importance of needing a heart program, because high blood pressure can be managed. You can look at reducing it or not getting it at all by reducing your risk factors, but then you can also treat it if you do have it. And a lot of times people don't like to take medication. They're not treating it. It's like the doctor gives you medication, but I'm going to wait and see and decide. And I mean, I think about it too, because even just taking 1 tablet a day, it makes you feel like you're sick. If you're not on any medication, then you, in your mind, I'm healthy, you know?
Right.
But, you know, thankfully, we've been given medicine for a reason, and it can help. And so it's better in a lot of cases, because sometimes there are genetic factors that you can't control. And then also, once you get it, the side effects that happen if you don't take the medication, or the effects that come out in regards to not being able to live the life as long as you would have, are worse than taking a tablet or 2 a day. So you want to listen to your doctors. But our #1 risk factor is cardiovascular disease, and activity as well as treating high blood pressure will help to reduce those.
I am one of those people that is very guilty of not taking the prescribed medication for high cholesterol, because I was like, what do you mean I have high cholesterol? And I said, no, I can change this. Absolutely. And I wouldn't take the medication. I think it was more acid reflux that I was getting, but I just learned what I couldn't eat, what was causing that. And it changed things. And I do check my numbers probably about twice a year. So I am trying to stay on top of that in that sense.
If it's early and it's pre high cholesterol levels in that regards, diet can change it, exercise can change it. So you can do those things, but you also want to stay in touch with your doctors. You want to be knowing it. You don't want to just go like a year and 2, like I've got it under control, I've changed this, and not know. You want to know, because if it is creeping up, if by chance, the genetic factors aren't allowing you to do it, then medication would be better, and it reduces your risk factor of stroke and other, chronic stuff that you don't want to have. So
agreed.
Stay in touch with your doctor.
I am, I promise. I'll do better. Were there any results that surprised the ministry or contradicted previous assumptions about our health as a population compared from the 2012 survey to 2023?
So we really weren't, like I said earlier, we weren't really that surprised. They were very similar to the 2012. However, what it has highlighted is the need for us to review our programs, because if in 2012 to now we've been the Ministry of Health and we've been public health doing initiatives to try and help people, and we've not made a dent in it. We need to relook at those programs and see what we can relaunch, i.e. the steps into wellness, the heart protocol, other cancer registries. Like, what can we do to do a better job at trying to address that? And it also has helped us to qualify things, and we are anticipating, looking at also who can accessing care. Are there barriers to people accessing care? Like what's happening in there, so we can change things for the better. And we're hoping that that'll all come out in our national health strategy.
Okay. The report shows multiple risk factors occurring together. So what does that mean for long-term health outcomes?
Well, 1 is bad, 2 is worse, 3 is worser, if we're going to say
What's up?
Exactly. So yeah, basically that they just compound. You don't want 1 and you definitely don't want 3 or 4. So definitely, like I said, we got to pay attention, Cayman.
Yeah, we do. We do. A lot of them align together, and when they compound, it's a really bad scene. So if we can reduce our risk factors, which are completely in our control, most of it, besides the genetic factors,
there's a lot in our control.
Yeah, a lot of it's in our control. Minister, this one's for you. The report recommends policy and legislative changes, such as increased public education campaigns, which Felicia just touched on. There was a suggestion about consumer protection legislation, import duty reductions, and more. Are there any new national health strategies or legislation being considered because of the STEPS campaign?
Yes, as of right now, the ministry is working on draft legislation for the cancer registry bill. So we're advancing that along. And that comes from the survey, the findings of the survey. In addition to that, also the National Health Strategy. And then, of course, one of the action items out of the findings was also what we're doing now, the Step Into Wellness Challenge. So there has been action coming out of that. I know that you asked about import duty reductions. I will give Minister DaCosta a big shout out, because he has been already having discussions about, what we can do as it relates to encouraging more healthy eating. So I know he is looking right now at this space, and some of the other areas. I know that the government members, especially those who have joined on to this challenge, will be even more excited to champion some of the suggested changes.
One of the things that was brought up in the report when it comes to the consumer protection legislation. So if we do reduce import duties on some food costs, it's the issue of the retailers, the supermarkets, still not keeping those prices down. So they're able to put whatever markup on their products, right? And that being, okay, well, even though the import duties were reduced, we're still paying the same amount in the grocery stores. So that, that could be a little frustrating. And it was an idea of consumer protection legislation. I don't know what Cayman, if we have that, what Caymans might look like right now.
So I'll give a shout out to the Law Reform Commission, because they've done a lot of work on draft consumer protection legislation. And I do know that it's something that the government is looking at.
Okay, excellent. So that might be something we can touch on in the future. I like this.
And the government's really doing a great job of moving in the right direction and addressing the things that truly are concerning our people, because eating healthy, as we said, but the next one comes into play in that regards. And if we didn't have Minister DaCosta and his ministry doing his part and the law reform doing theirs, it takes more than one. Health can't fix it all. It is definitely a collaboration, which is why we're super excited that district admin is a part of this national challenge. We're super excited that youth, sports and culture and heritage are a part of this challenge. We're so happy that the DG office is also willing to let us launch at the DG 5K. We're really, really happy that the Premier and the Office of the Cabinet is coming on board to support it. And I feel like I'm missing one. Education is also on board. Sports, yeah, they're on board. So it really is a government initiative, and it's showing the partnership within our government that's allowing us to truly address and change things from all different angles to make the biggest impact.
And I think impact as it relates to a healthier community, which then for those who watched Parliament when we did the budget, one of the things that I talked a lot about was preventative care. And we're hoping then with doing more preventative care, we can bring down the cost of healthcare. As everybody sees in Cayman, we spend a whole lot of money from the government as it relates to the famous NGS 55, as they talk about. And so this is a way to bring down healthcare costs, but more importantly, to have healthier communities.
Yes, agreed. So was this accounted for in the current budget, the the Step Into Wellness campaign?
Yes, it was.
Excellent. And will these results influence your future budgets, so the 27-28?
I mean, we're hoping so. I mean, even from some other workshops that we've done in regards to diabetes and, as we say, the Caribbean plate, I mean, there are other things in regards to food labeling, potentially taxes around sugar and different things. So there are things that we are thinking about and looking into and continuing in the research and planning stages to be what else can we do to support the population. But we can't obviously speak to full of that because it's still in the planning stage and looking at that data and coming up with an action plan.
I love the idea of a sugar tax. I'll throw it out there. I was eating a giant chocolate bar as I was doing this planning for the show last night, and all I could think about was I had 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. I'm like 15% of our population. Yesterday, so I did all right.
So she had her dose of natural sugar on top of the artificial sugar.
Way too much of it. But a sugar tax would work on me, trust me. I will move away from the chocolate. We got to go to the 8 a.m. headline news, the 8 a.m. news right now. And when we come back, we will be continuing our discussion.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Make sure to pack a raincoat or carry your umbrella with you today. National Weather Service forecaster Ben Harding tells us why.
Occasional showers with some isolated thunderstorms are expected at times today across the Cayman area as a prefrontal trough continues to develop across the Northwest Caribbean, while also being fueled by moisture drawn in from the Southern Caribbean. An associated frontal boundary located across the Yucatan Channel will clash with this feature through the next few days, bringing showers at times with periods of rain, mainly across the sister islands. A thunderstorm advisory is currently in effect. Radar imagery currently shows numerous showers with some isolated and embedded thunderstorms in and around and east of the Cayman area moving towards the northwest.
Make sure to keep it locked to Radio Cayman right after this morning's news as we'll bring you the full weather forecast.
A democracy that values its community must protect those communities.
MPs pass a government motion recommending constitutional amendments for electoral representation of traditional districts on Grand Cayman. Northside MP, the Honorable J. Ebanks, tabled the motion in Parliament.
The motion is grounded in every simple democratic principle. Every community deserves a voice. Every district deserves representation. Every Caymanian deserves to know that their community will always have a place in Parliament.
He says these changes are necessary as the Electoral Boundaries Commission has raised concerns about the small population sizes of Northside and East End, adding that the sister islands are constitutionally guaranteed 2 MPs despite their small population sizes.
Be it resolved that the Honorable House recommends amending the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009 as amended to include the provisions guaranteeing that there is at least one parliamentary representative from each of the 5 traditional districts, namely West Bay, Georgetown, Bordentown, East End, and Northside.
The motion met with widespread support, passing in the House on March 10th. Following a thorough procurement process, Edgewater Development Limited has been selected to lead the final phase of enhancements to the George Dixon Park in East End. This will include construction of a steel frame canopy for the courts, completion of BMX bike and walking tracks, park and court lighting upgrades, and upgraded utility services. These additions will bring the park, quote, closer to becoming a vibrant hub for sports, recreation, and community connection. The project is expected to be completed by December, and you're invited to a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the start of the final phase on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. Israel says it's killed Iran's security chief Ali Larijani with an overnight airstrike. Israeli media are reporting he was attacked with his son in a hideout apartment. Israel said the commander of the Basij paramilitary force was also killed. There's been no confirmation from Iran. In response to the US and Israeli bombing campaign, Iran has continued to hit back across the region. Oil prices rose briefly on news that America's European allies were unlikely to enforce safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. The World Food Programme has warned that the war could lead to price rises that would push an extra 45 million people into acute hunger. The UN agency said it would take global hunger levels to an all-time record. Medical sources in Afghanistan have told the BBC that more than 100 bodies have been brought in after a Pakistani airstrike. The attack reduced a drug rehabilitation centre in Kabul to a smoking ruin. Pakistan said it targeted a military installation. The European Union says Ukraine has accepted its offer to restore the oil flow to Hungary and Slovakia through a damaged Russian pipeline. The Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban had threatened to block a $100 billion EU loan to Ukraine. North Korea is reported to be increasing its use of human-like robots in public spaces. A photo online showed a machine of female appearance greeting voters at a polling station. Scientists from Australia and Britain say cannabis is not effective as a treatment for common mental health disorders. The researchers found little evidence to suggest it could help conditions including anxiety, anorexia and post-traumatic stress disorder. The British author Len Deighton, best known for his spy thrillers, has died at the age of 97. His first book was The Ipcress Files. And that's the latest world news from the BBC.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, Delano Hislop Pace, 5K and 10K Walk Run is back on April 12th. Whether you're trying to stay a bit fitter, looking to invest more time in your community, or just looking for a reason to get out in the sun, the Delano Hislop Walk Run is the perfect opportunity to keep your goals in check. Visit the Lions Club Facebook page for registration details. The 2026 Delano Hislop Pace Walk Run, Sunday, April 12th. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, proudly serving the community for over 50 years.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 81%. The barometric pressure is 29.93 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 7 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate occasional showers with some isolated thunderstorms are expected at times today across the Cayman area as a prefrontal trough continues to develop across the northwest Caribbean whilst being fueled by moisture drawn in from the southern Caribbean. An associated frontal boundary located across the Yucatan Channel will clash with this feature during the next few days, bringing showers at times and periods of heavy rain, mainly across Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. A thunderstorm advisory is in effect. Radar imagery show numerous showers with isolated embedded thunderstorms in and around the east of Cayman, moving towards the northwest. Now, the showers are expected to begin affecting Grand Cayman this morning. Forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times with occasional showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly across Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and showers will be locally heavy at times, and temperatures will be in the low to mid-80s today. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots with higher gusts in and around showers, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. A thunderstorm advisory is in effect for today and tonight as well. Forecast for tonight calling for cloudy skies with occasional showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Showers tonight will be locally heavy at times and temperatures falling near the low to mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be light and variable for Grand Cayman and southeasterly at 5 to 10 knots for the sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Today's high tide will be this morning at 8:26, low tide this afternoon at 2:46, and a high tide again tonight at 8:51. The sun will set this evening at 6:35 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:31. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy. Janelle? From spring break 08?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Britke. Good like that. The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britke, where people come first.
K-Fest 2026 is in full swing, celebrating poetry, film, dance, concerts, visual arts, and so much more. Follow Cayman Culture Socials to see it all. It all culminates on Saturday, March 21st with Red Sky at Night, happening at the Harkwell Theatre grounds, featuring local art, crafts, live music, dance, storytelling, interactive activities, and more. It's an event for the whole family. Pre-sale tickets are just $10 adults and $5 for children. Visit ticketsplus.ky to secure yours today. Red Sky at Night, the grand finale at K-Fest 2026.
Sponsored by Ministry of Culture, Camana Bay, Coca-Cola, Webster's Tours, What's On, and Radio Cayman.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's take a quick look at the roads. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road and Rex Crichton Boulevard, traffic is bumper to bumper. Expect delays and a lot of patience needed this morning as you're heading down to Georgetown. Bumper to bumper traffic as well on Linford Pearson Highway. Steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and Agnes Way. Crew Road is a crawlathon happening over there as you head to Georgetown. Traffic is slow moving. Coming off of the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, traffic is steady. Expect some delays as well coming off of there and continuing on to North Sound Road, Industrial Park area, moving at a moderate pace. From the West Bay 4-way, stop light to moderate traffic flow. And on the West Bay Road and from the Ritz, traffic is steady heading towards the Georgetown area and heading towards the West Bay area, moving at a moderate pace. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing moderately in both directions. And that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Craving something new? Dive into Subway's new seafood subs. 3 recipes inspired by the flavors of the coast, including the crunchy seafood bliss, the scrumptious chipotle tuna crunch, and the delicious breaded fish and ranch sub, made with our new breaded fish nuggets. Subway's new seafood subs. 3 recipes made to rock the boat. Only at Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey, more so what's happening now that the report has been published. What is the Ministry of Health doing about this report? And they're putting things into action, and that is through the Step Into Wellness campaign, particularly with the Move It Cayman National Challenge, which is kicking off, right?
Yep.
It's kicking off.
It's kicking off.
And I want to know, why are we starting with movement? Why is movement so important in starting this Step Into Wellness campaign?
Well, movement's important because it's something that's easily controllable. We don't have to necessarily spend any money to move. We just need to make time in our lives and recognize the importance of it. And then we know that if we decrease our BMIs, so if we reduce that weight, and we're healthy, we're going to have healthier cardiovascular system. We're going to have healthier blood sugar levels. We're going to have better mind and body. It really targets everything, as Minister mentioned earlier. Just walking, clearing that mind, refocusing for the day, or recapping in the evening, dancing with your family at home, and just burning some calories, sweating a bit, having fun. It's easy, it's obtainable, and it has major impacts in regards to cardiovascular disease and diabetes and all these other non-communicable diseases, even cancer. It helps to reduce that risk. So it's an easy one that can do a lot of things, and you can do it without spending a dime.
Okay, I like that. That's good reasoning right there. The government we've launched the Step Into Wellness campaign. What's the purpose of this campaign, and what is the ministry hoping to accomplish?
I think the purpose of the campaign is to really change the behavior and the minds of the residents of Cayman as it relates to how we move our bodies. Certainly educating everyone on, if you move, if you get active, it brings down your
blood pressure.
Yeah, your blood pressure, your blood glucose levels. If you are already struggling with diabetes, it certainly will decrease your body mass index. So that's what we are hoping to accomplish from this movement challenge, is that when the challenge is over, we have residents now in a routine where this is something that has become a part of their lifestyle. That's what we're hoping to accomplish.
Now, I want to know about how movement is part of your lifestyle.
Well, recently, actually at the end of last year, I decided that I was going to do something because my BMI was over 30. And I think everybody in Cayman was making a comment about how I'd start to put on quite a lot of weight. And so I set a goal to join the gym. So I go to the gym in the mornings at 5. CDG there almost every morning. So I go to the gym at 5 Monday to Friday, and it has been life-changing in just a matter of months. I need to measure my BMI, but I certainly have lost quite a bit of weight, and I'm happy about it. We were just joking on the break saying that it would have been good to have done it during the movement challenge and show the country what movement can really do for your bodies. But being that I'm not really a competitive person, we'll leave that for some of the other. I know some of my colleagues in their various ministries are competitive in nature, so it'll be good. It'll be good fun.
I agree. I think so. I don't mind a little challenge here and there. I'm very competitive sports-wise. But when it comes to fitness challenges, I don't know why I fall off. But we'll see what happens this time around with the Move It Cayman challenge.
I think I'll join the step challenge this time around, though, and count steps and set goals, but...
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, especially with a team environment. It's a bit of a challenge, and you have measuring points that you can kind of look at and say, all right, what did my partner here do? What did they accomplish today? I got to beat them, that kind of thing. It keeps you accountable.
It does keep you accountable. Yeah. I'm a little competitive, so yeah.
See?
That steps challenge does help a lot, whatever, yeah, for sure.
I am going to say I do not believe the people that have 80,000 steps on there. Come on, guys. We know what's going on. And you are not running a marathon every single day.
They're putting it with the hamster.
Yeah, I agree. Or on the dog.
Yeah.
Something like that. Are there any plans to expand community health clinics or preventative screening programs?
So I'm going to answer that in two parts. There is going to be some more health screenings happening with this movement challenge. So we were blessed enough, like we mentioned, to have DG say yes that we can launch with that. And so because the DG 5K has already happened in the BRAC and in Little Cayman, when people went to pick up their registration kits for the DG 5K, we had the public health team doing height, weight, blood pressure checks in that regard. So a part of this is happening. And when we do our pickups here in Grand on the 26th and 27th, we'll also have the public health team there. We're also looking to have some throughout the challenge where maybe we'll be at Cost-U-Less, maybe it'll be at Ale Thompson. We're still figuring out the actual locations, but there'll be more access to having health checks throughout that process because we want people to know their numbers. We want people to see how they're doing, help encourage them. So there are some of them. In the long run, as you know, and I think Minister's spoken to it already, we're trying to move public health out of under HSA to under the ministry. When it is under the ministry, the goal is to look at more of these national campaigns. So while the ministry is currently doing Stepping Into Wellness and this movement challenge, we're hoping that the public health department will continue these kind of things going forward, these initiatives that continue to encourage the population to be preventative measures. So we are looking at those. It's a much bigger thing than just this. This is the start, and then we've got more to come in that regards later on with our primary health care centers, with our public health team, and at a whole, just looking at preventative care.
Okay, so the Move It Cayman Challenge, what exactly encompasses this challenge? What it's about?
Awesome. So Move It Cayman is an initiative to help change, as Minister said, the behavior. There is a link, and I'm going to say it now. We'll say it a couple more times. So basically, it's gov/Move It Cayman. gov.ky/Move It Cayman. That'll take you straight to the page. On that page, there's a link to sign up. And what it'll do is, in the sign up process, to be a part of the challenge, you'll answer stuff about behavioral things. So how often do you exercise? How easy is it to exercise? Do you do it better with friends? Do you do it by yourself? What do you and so we're gathering information on how active you are and kind of how you judge your ability to be active.
Right. So in the survey, especially when it talked to physical activity, there was something that said, do you do vigorous activity? And I don't know if you can answer this, but for myself, I was like, well, what is vigorous activity?
So vigorous activity is getting that heart rate up over 160 for that, X amount of time in actual exercise pattern. And then from there, actually burning, because you can kind of be active, and that's still good. But the vigorous activity is actually doing like the weightlifting or the more intense, your full-fledged 5K, but jogging it, not necessarily just walking the 5K. You can be active with walking the 5K. You can be active with like threading water and swimming versus actually swimming laps in the pool or lifting the weights. Or even, but basically what you're trying to do is get that heart rate up to that over 60 for a sustained time to actually burn the active calories that you want to burn in that regards and be there. So we're working towards that. The WHO standard is 150 minutes of that activity in the given week. So you're looking at 2.5 hours, trying to build that into every day throughout the week is what we're going. But we know that...
Wait, hold on. 2.5 hours into the week?
Yeah, so in your total week. You're trying to be able to get that activity going. So you just want to divide it. I don't know how long your workout is, Minister, when you go to the gym. Do you do like a full half hour or like an hour?
An hour.
So
I do a half hour of like between 20 minutes to 30 minutes cardio, and then I do weights.
Right. So then she'd be getting into that physical activity because she's gotten that heart rate up with the cardio, and then the weightlifting in that regard is really giving you that physical activity. Something that we women tend not to do as much. We tend to if we do manage to exercise, it did show that women were less likely to do the physical activity compared to the men. Men like to get to the gym and they do those vigorous activities. We not so much. We're just chasing the kids.
Right. And it's interesting because when you look at the mental health aspect of things as well, I find, even just speaking to men, my male friends, is, I go to the gym and I work it out at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
They get through their frustrations, whatever else, through the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Women might also do it that way and other ways as well. But there's a difference in how we approach the gym. It could be. And Minister, I'm interested for you because I know women in our era of life right now, we're very much encouraged to, don't just do the fitness classes. Don't be an 80s Jane Fonda fitness workout machine, right? But lifting is a key component of where we are in our era as women right now. Were you ever a lifter? Was this a new, exercise you had to incorporate into your lifestyle?
This is new. I have a girlfriend that, probably about 15 years ago, she and I went on a weight loss challenge together. She left me in the dust, and she completely changed her lifestyle and her whole image. You wouldn't know that it's the same person. And so I've started going to the gym with her, and so she's introduced me to weights, and it's life-changing. I'm enjoying it. I'm not lifting very heavy weights like some of the people that I see around, but certainly enough to make my body stronger and try to tone it up a bit.
And it's building muscle.
Building muscle.
It's building
and
muscle.
I think
it's with it. Yeah.
Important at our age now to incorporate a bit of strength training.
It's very important. I think that's a big key thing that they're women of a certain era. This is what I say for myself. When you reach a certain area, the weight lifting is a key thing as well.
I'll add to what you said about a lot of the men. Like the men go for I guess they refer to clearing their heads. I find that now as well. I find that it certainly helps with just managing stress.
How did you get over the I guess, the fear or uncomfortable factor in you're going to enter a gym, it's new to you, because a lot of people are afraid of going to a gym. They don't belong there. They think, okay, this is just for the fitness people. And somebody explained to me, Kathy, church is not just for Christians. The gym is not just for the perfectly built bodies.
I didn't have that fear. I mean,
Awesome.
I guess I probably had conditioned my mind for a couple of weeks that this was something that I needed to do. And I had a good support, a good friend that would ensure that I had, all the right form, and making sure that I get up every morning until it became a ritual. But I guess it is a fear that a lot of people probably have. But like most things in life, when you actually get started, you realize that you probably put a lot of limitations in your way that really weren't really necessary, and some of them you imagined up in your mind, and when you get there, it's just sort of like a mammogram. I know we're talking about wellness, but let's just talk about the white elephant, right? A lot of women refuse to do a mammogram because they talk about, it feels like you slammed something in your boob in the door. And really, when you do your first mammogram, I remember when I did my first one, I was like, oh my gosh, like, why did I wait? So again, you put these thoughts in your mind that make you think it's terrible. So for that lady that's listening this morning that thinks having a mammogram, maybe there's a reason why I'm saying this. It's not that bad. Go and do it.
Yeah. A lot of the time it's those fears and thoughts we just put in our own head until we actually do it and realize it's a lot easier than what we were telling ourselves.
Yes.
I know you have to leave, so if there's any last thoughts you want to leave with our listeners.
Just to say how proud I am of the ministry team, especially Chief Nursing Officer Felicia, and I know Carolina. Help me pronounce her last name. Ferreira. And I know that there's a whole lot of other individuals who have worked hard on this movement challenge. I'm not sure if you want to call any other names. I don't want to leave anyone out.
I'm super happy to thank Kaylin O'Connor. She's a policy support person with me, and also our EPI team, which is Rachel as well as Hallie, and we had Hallie in with us, and we've had Rachel in with us, and obviously CMO and the support from her team members, Novian, Tanil. It does take a village, and it has taken a team, and we may not be a huge team, but we're really grateful. And then even outside of the ministry, this particular initiative also partners with the community. And so we have key stakeholders that have come on board, and they're offering sessions. So you were talking a little bit about the benefits of exercise and lifting, and we have trainers that are going to do Zooms during that 3-month time and educate the people about that. We also have youth in sports who are going to tell us more. So there's so many partners.
Let's plug that for a sec. We're going to go to an early commercial break because I know the minister has to leave.
Yes.
And then we're going to get into the details of who the partners are within government and also in the private sector. Yeah.
And just in closing, just to encourage the public to continue to follow the Movement Challenge page and join the journey with us.
Yes.
And let's get healthy together.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'll be signing up. We'll see how it goes. All right, Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was great to have you, and I'm going to keep you to the promise that you'll be on more often with me on The Buzz.
Sounds good. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. So we're going to just take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back to this conversation.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
What matters most to you right now? The cost of living, housing, jobs, healthcare, safety? The Cayman Islands government has set 7 national priorities for 2026 to 2028, focused on areas that affect daily life, from preparing Caymanians for opportunity, to improving quality of life and social stability, to strengthening Cayman's long-term resilience. Learn more about the 7 broad outcomes at gov.ky/priorities. 7 priorities, 1 Cayman.
Grow your business with Breeze 105.3 FM and Radio Cayman. From spot packages to full campaigns, we've got rates that fit your budget and your goals. Email our sales team today, rcsales@gov.ky. That's rcsales@gov.ky. Let's get your message on air and reach listeners who trust us every day.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Calling all couch potatoes. Listen, we get it. The sofa is comfortable. But the truth is that a sedentary lifestyle increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, obesity, and mental health issues, potentially leading to premature death. We're just asking you to move a little bit at a time. The National Movement Challenge is about making small changes that will change your life. Your health matters. Let's step into wellness, Cayman. Log on to gov.ky/MoveItCayman to join the challenge today.
The 7:20 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Credit Union, on the road to 50 years of serving our members. Visit creditunion.ky to join today.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the Move It Cayman National Challenge. We're finally going to get into more details about that. We have been hinting at it, what it is exactly. I know we have a caller on the line, and I have to apologize to the caller. You've been waiting a few minutes. I hope you're still there. Are you still there? If not, you can call back. You can definitely call back. I will take your call. I completely forgot that you were waiting on the line, and I meant to take your call a few minutes earlier, so please do call back if you want to share anything with us. Okay, Felicia, as we're talking about the Move It Cayman Challenge, the overall goal that the Ministry of Health is hoping to accomplish with this challenge, what would be the overall goal?
So as Minister said, change behavior. And I speak and saying that I'm not speaking this just to the Cayman Islands and saying, hey, you got to do better. I'm saying this to myself as well. Like,
you got to do better.
This challenge is for me as well. Like, I was really inspired. I don't know how many other women were listening, parents are listening, but Minister has a full schedule, family and everything. And she's getting up at 4 something in the morning to get to the gym for 5. I am still not quite there. So changing the behavior around physical activity, recognizing the importance of it. The benefits will come, as we've heard from Minister. You know, she's getting the mental health release. She's lost a lot of weight, whatever. She's looking really good. It's doable, but it takes being intentional. And we want to change that behavior to make it intentional, that physical activity is a part of our everyday lives and we don't think twice about it. It's like, you know, this is just what we do.
How do we measure changed behavior?
So our STEP survey, so for everyone that signs up for the STEP survey, the STEP challenge, they will enter kind of how they're doing now. Then we'll do a midway point check-in and say, based on the information we've been giving you, there's a calendar app, you go on, you get information. There's an app that they'll be a part of that they can track how they're doing. How are you doing? What are we not doing well? How can we encourage you and support you better? And then at the end, we're hoping that a portion of that, of the people that signed up in the beginning, managed to report that now exercise is a part of their everyday life and they're doing well with it. And so that's kind of how we're going to track and see how people are doing. And really and truly, the whole challenge is about giving people the information about what's out there. So we've got gyms, we've got walk clubs, we've got run clubs, we've got swim clubs, we've got all these things happening. Both youth and sports do them for free, and then other people within the community that have jumped on board already, they're all going to be in the app. You can open up the app, it's going to show you what's free and what may be discounted. So some of the gyms or the spin cycle places, they might offer something that is discounted. We also have Zooms in there and educational sessions versus like maybe an online Zoom class in the evening. We're also going to use social media to show people things that they can do. So like Cardio Tuesday and kind of things that you can do to get going. So there'll be lots of ways to engage the public for those that are tech savvy. I will say that there's also our bunch of our older people, which we've thought about as well. And they'll have their own personal little booklet that they can have, that they can track how they're doing. And then we're going to use the community support officers and youth and sports to help give them their activities and keep them involved, you know, to help them to stay active. So basically, we've got to give everyone the information about how they can get active within their realm. So I did it, and we may or may not show a similar video. Maybe we get someone else to do it. But like a few months ago, just trying to be active in my house, my daughter and I, we'd put on calypso music and we just dance for half an hour. That's active.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, it's having fun with your family. It's also teaching my daughter the importance of being active and the fact that you can move that way as well. And that's being, so it's just trying to change that behavior and be informed about how you can do it safely. And then hopefully from there, people will know more about what's happening.
Dance is my favorite form of movement.
Me too.
By far.
Guilty as charged.
My dog hates it, but I love it.
My dog doesn't care.
Oh, I wish that was the attitude of mine. She loses her mind, so I have to dance locked away in a room somewhere alone. But that's okay. Okay, you said a lot of things there, and I think what I'm interested in is to learn more about is the app component of that's included in this Move It Cayman challenge. So in this app component, you have partnered with a lot of external stakeholders to offer different programs, different discounts.
Yep. Yeah, we have some of the private providers that are offering discounts for their swim aerobics. It could be their spin class. It could be, and I don't have them all on the top of my head, but there's several of them that are partnered, and they'll all have access to the app. So they'll just go straight into the app and they'll put in on Tuesday at this time they're offering this. Some of them are limited to how many come, so it'd be like first come first serve. But there'll be a link in there that you can sign up for their class and be able to go, and it's either free or discounted. And that's in there. And so really looking forward to that.
All right, so it's a 12-week challenge, and we're kicking off the Move It Cayman challenge for Grand Cayman's DG5K, which is on
the 29th of March. It's in less than 2 weeks away. I can't believe it. It's almost here.
I know. We've had the DGK5 challenge in Little Cayman, which had record numbers of participants.
Yes.
And in the BRAC.
And they had their health checks, and they could sign up for the movement challenge. So we have people already signing up for the challenge based on the BRAC in that regards. And hopefully now with the DG's 5K, they'll see it at their registration pickup. And then we'll also be at the DG5K with our QR code and phone board that people can sign up there as well. And then we've had stakeholder meetings with businesses. So like DART, we're meeting with them again next week in regards to how they can get their employees to partner. We've done it with the schools. The schools are also doing their own challenge. I've had one school write back and say they're going to do like a bingo card where the kids can take it home and do stuff with their family and get active and then bring it back in, and kind of like challenges in that regard.
I like that because it connects family.
Yeah, I know. There is like so many. We just have to try. We have to start somewhere. I don't know that's going to be perfect, and it may not get the exact number that I want to see come out of it or that we've set as our target goal. However, we're getting people to think about it and make it a point for at least the next 12 weeks, starting on the 29th this month. We're going to have people starting to think about physical activity and the importance it has.
What is the target goal?
Well, truth be told, we're hoping we get over 2,005 to sign up, and we're hoping that 1,500, and I know it's a big number, are able to sustain it.
Okay.
So however, more than 2,005, but if we can get at least 1,500 of our population to sustain it, then we've done a big thing. So that's our goal. And then we were talking about the app that we're looking at having, and it has in there defined workouts. It has in there challenge workouts. It has workouts for your children. It has yoga for beginners and different ages, endurance, running. You can take the app and chart. So there's a lot that can be done on the actual app that for those that are app friendly and want to track it that way, they can do that. And that's individual stuff or things that you can do for yourself. But then you can also go onto the calendar and see what's offering that week or the next couple of weeks that will help you get active. We also want to highlight, and we'll be highlighting, that there's a free walking path pretty much in most districts. A lot of the schools, so you've got the Georgetown one by the pool, the swimming pool that you can walk around, the old George Hicks campus.
Okay, gotcha.
You can go walk there. There's one in Northside.
Because I was about to say, where is it in Georgetown?
Yeah, no,
but yes,
there's that one, and then there's one in Northside. There's one in West Bay. There are there, and people forget they're there. So we're going to be highlighting all the things that people can do within their area to get active. Like I said, not everything has to cost money.
There's a bunch, even in Camana Bay area, actually, and going around the old Hyatt residences there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really lovely, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
so hopefully we'll take some videos during that time. People will see, we'll have people sharing. So there'll be individual challenges throughout the way that'll say, like, post a video of you doing something, and then your name is entered into a drawing, and you could possibly win something cool and exciting and fun. We did get some sponsorship from the partners out there in the community, so I don't have a list of all what they all are just yet. But you might be able to win like a free gym membership or a free discount on something. So those things are coming in, and then there'll be other like swag stuff that are coming out, like light up shoelaces and jump ropes and different things. It'll be things that people can win along the way based on the challenges that we put forward in.
Susan, do we have that caller still? Okay, the caller's back.
Okay,
I
sorry.
almost forgot again. No, it's that's me. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Buzz, and I'm so sorry I've kept you on hold for so long. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Okay, is the minister still there?
No, she left. I'm sorry. But if you have a question, hopefully Felicia will be able to answer.
Or I can
The
take
chief
it back
nursing
for you.
officer.
If I don't know the answer, I'm happy to take it back for you.
No, it was just something I was going to suggest.
Go for it.
Go ahead. Suggest.
Well, when it comes to defibrillator machines, you all know what I'm speaking about?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, right now, I'm staying in England right now. And I noticed, like, in Southampton, in the city, they have a lot of defibrillator machines where a lot of people be walking and shopping and so forth. So I was hoping to speak to the minister and suggest that I think these things are very important to have at our public beaches in Cayman. Maybe in a few places in Georgetown, like by the courthouse, and one by the cruise port, and even at our public schools. And it would be something that I would suggest that they even have at the churches in Cayman, being that at the churches there's a big population of people who gather there also. So that's what I was calling about to really mention to the minister. But I think it's very important to have these things in place because we've had a few people now. I've noticed, like by the West Bay launch and ramp by Northwest Point, I've noticed a few times now there have been some dive boats coming ashore with people who have had problems with their heart, and a few times now those people have passed away. So I think these defibrillator machines are very important to have on our beaches and in public areas, because when it comes to saving someone's life, time is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I actually think that's a great idea.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing idea. Thank you so much for that call, and thank you for your suggestion. You're 100% right. Defibrillator machines are very, very crucial and important part of saving someone's life in a heart attack situation, or where they become their heart stops. I will say that, and I can't remember the actual foundation, but there's I don't think it's the Cayman Heart Foundation, but maybe it is. They have already put defibs around many places in the Cayman Islands. I know for sure there's one at my daughter's school, which is also First Baptist Church. They have it there. I know for sure they're in the government admin building, and I know that there are early conversations about trying to see whether all dive boats should have it or the best way to do it, because you are right. There are many people that come to our shores that have trouble in the water, and I know it's something we're looking at. So you're not wrong at all in your suggestion. I thank you for it. We are aware of it. The ministry has been looking at it. We actually have a stakeholder group that we put together looking at CPR in general in regards to what the training is, so that it's more of a universal standard of how we deal with CPR. And then in that also, how do we look at the defibs and where they are and where they're placed, that they would be able to have access to it. I do hear you about the beach in that regards, and something we can definitely look into. I don't know that we've looked much there just because we don't actually have lifeguards and we don't actually have like a set hub where there's someone manning the beach all the time. But it's definitely something that we can look into. So thanks for that suggestion. We will continue to do our research, but we are looking at it. It is available in several locations. And I know, like I said, there are some churches that have it. There are schools that definitely have them. There are workplaces that definitely have them. So we're doing better at getting it around, but we haven't gotten it all. And you've raised some really good points. So we'll definitely take that back to the drawing board with the minister and the ministry team as we continue to flesh that out and see how we can do better in that area.
I also like, Felicia, how you suggested that even some of the dive boats, it's being considered the I can't say the word, should be brought onto the dive boats. I think that's a great idea because, as most of us know, a lot of the majority of the water-related deaths come from diving, somebody having a heart attack or a stroke or something like that in the water. So, I mean, I think that would be just such a great idea.
Yeah, there have been conversations. We're looking into it, but definitely we'll dig a bit deeper. But thank you for that suggestion. You're 100% correct.
All right, now moving on from that. One thing I've noticed about Cayman is that it seems to be a very fitness-related country. It seems to be that. So I've had people move here that have said, one of the things that they really like about Cayman is that the wellness industry or community seems to be booming here. Mm-hmm. There is the 5K, the run clubs. There's some pretty good gym communities that are going on. There's a whole lot being offered out there. Mm-hmm. There's that free, I want to call it like a Muscle Beach Park almost at behind Bonnie Moon now at Public Beach on West Bay Road. So I'm looking at those things and I love that because that free little kind of workout area, I would see. I mean, you'll see that kind of in different cities across the world. Mm-hmm. But where it really stuck out to me, where I always saw that, was in Medellin, Colombia, and in New York. You would see these weird little kind of workout spaces in the middle of, I'm just like, who's working out on these? But you would see people randomly stopping and doing these little exercises. Medellin, to me, was crazy because you will see communities of people, hundreds of people out there doing a fitness aerobics class just in the middle of the day somewhere in a community or in the middle of a city. It's very interesting to me in that sense. So I think those kind of influences can be brought to Cayman, but I do see Cayman as a very health and conscious related country, but yet our stats don't show that.
I think there's a population, that is health conscious. We have a lot of people who come from other parts of the world that are coming with that built-in nature, that this is what they do. Like she mentioned, there are people who've come in and I think we said on the break, but you see the tourists, they come and they walk from here and they go across the street and they get dinner and then they go down the road and they just walk. I remember we'd brag about it when people come back from college with my friends and be like, hey, we're going to go around the corner to the library, and we hop in our car to drive there. We don't even think twice about walking. That's the physical activity we're talking about. It's not necessarily about the people who are doing the vigorous exercise, even though that's where we want to get to. Right now, we're just trying to change the behavior around being physically active and taking the extra steps, parking further away so you can walk, because outside of that, you're going to have a sedentary lifestyle. You're going to come to the office, you're going to sit all day, unless you have a standing desk and maybe you put that up and stand up, but you're going to sit all day. Then you're going to get in your car and you're going to drive home. You may cook dinner, you may do whatever. You're going to sit down and either work or do something, with the kids, but you're not necessarily being active. And that's what we're trying to change, because that's the bigger killer. That's sedentary lifestyle.
Gotcha. We got to take a quick commercial break, our final quick commercial break of the segment. And I think we might be having one more person join us. Yeah. I think we'll see.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market. K-Fest 2026 is in full swing, celebrating poetry, film, dance, concerts, visual arts, and so much more. Follow Cayman Culture Socials to see it all. It all culminates on Saturday, March 21st with Red Sky at Night, happening at the Harkwell Theatre grounds, featuring local art, crafts, live music, dance, storytelling, interactive activities, and more. It's an event for the whole family. Pre-sale tickets are just $10 adults and $5 for children. Visit ticketsplus.ky to secure yours today. Red Sky at Night, the grand finale at K-Fest 2026.
Sponsored by Ministry of Culture, Kamana Bay, Coca-Cola, Webster's Tours, What's On, and Radio Cayman.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in hand. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in hand.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we did have an extra person join us, and I'm excited to introduce Carolina Ferreira, who's the Communications Manager with the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability.
There you go. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Not just the community. She is a huge backbone part of this movement challenge. The amount of blood, sweat, and tears that we've put in to make this happen is no understatement. So we're really happy to have her and her help.
I'm also going to give you your flowers live. You've been absolutely incredible, very well organized. I love working with you. The communication is great with us. And you have had such a big task behind you with the STEPS challenge for the past few years. So how does it feel knowing now that, okay, you did the survey, the report is done, and now you're moving into action with it?
Oh, no, it's fantastic. I mean, it's just like I have to, a lot of the people that CNO was mentioning before, Rachel Corbett, our national epidemiologist, Hallie, our policy support officer, myself, and then a former SPA were part of the 4-person team in the ministry who were, responsible. And I mean, Rachel did amazing work with that. And it's almost like our collective baby that has grown up, so it's like now it's actually moving into something else. And the idea behind Step Into Wellness really and truly is to get to that point where we have the information, we know what we need to know, and now we have the tools to do what needs to be done, and as, CNO and Minister, when they were here, were talking about it, like this goes beyond just health. Right? When you're talking about the social determinants of health, the things that allow you to either have access to, your green spaces, to that information that, will allow you to make better decisions about your body and the things that need to be done, to understand the information that your doctors are getting into, to understand that movement is more than just, as you were talking about sort of the idea of going to the gym, I remember being younger, being 14 and 15 and thinking that I needed to lose weight in order to get to the gym because that's sort of like what the culture of the time was kind of telling you. And I think especially for, young women and whatnot, we already have so much pressure when it comes to our bodies that don't necessarily get into that thing about our health, right? It's like we think more about the aesthetics, but not necessarily thinking through to the health. So it's just like, so I'm hoping that as we kind of move into this, we'll let people build healthier relationships that they have now with their bodies, with the idea of movement, right? So the idea of like, I remember the T-shirts from the 90s, like sweat is just weakness leaving the body,
I love that phrase, by the way, yes.
like, but it's the whole like pain is just whatever. It's like, no, it's just that there are other ways that you can get vigorous exercise, right? I mean, I don't know how many people have tried a couple of those, it's like vinyasa yoga classes, for instance, and stuff. It's all your own body weight, but, it's like this flexible movement and, kind of getting to that point and stuff. So I'm hoping that what we can do here is just that aspect of, helping people build better habits, like one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
We start with movement. You have 12 weeks to kind of get to that point where you find a groove. And I was listening to, the PSA, Hallie's PSA, just as I was coming in as well. It's not about, it's like whatever goal you set for yourself. It's not a 0 to 5K kind of thing unless you want to make it so, So it's just like if you can get people who haven't moved at all to maybe take walks twice a week and whatnot and do that consistently, you have moved the needle. You've gotten to that point. So I think that would be fantastic to actually see where we started and where can we go with this.
Yep. Now, I did ask the minister, what is she doing for the Movement Challenge? And I'd like to ask both of you, what about yourselves? What do you do currently to move your body? And are you going to be challenging yourself with a Move It Challenge? I kind of feel like you have to.
I told you, I said I wasn't speaking to the public. I mean, maybe I partially kind of did the Movement Challenge because, I needed the Movement Challenge. I'm the worst, I will say. If you guys see me lose any weight in this next 3 months, you know that I took it seriously, and I'm hoping and praying that mindset changes. Like, I love to hear ministers' mindset of I made up my mind and I was intentional and then I did it. That's what we're asking our country to do. We're asking us to.
You saying I'm the worst is being critical of yourself.
I know.
We talked about that too,
right?
right?
I am. I want to get up. I have been walking a bit more. I can't say, but no, my goal is exactly like, maybe you set that 3 days a week. 3 days a week, you get up early, you go for your walk, and you make a habit of it, and you make it a priority, and you value yourself, and you care, like you says, I'm gonna do this to make myself healthier. I'm gonna encourage my family to get involved, and maybe we go play pickleball, maybe we dance, maybe we go to the beach and swim. It's still a little cold. I don't do cold water, but we've got to look at that. I mean, like I said, the app is going to have tons of options of things you can do. The calendar is going to have tons of things that you can do. We just need to take advantage of it, find out what's free, find out what's happening, see what fits your lifestyle and where you can fit something in, and make it a priority to do so. So my challenge to myself is I'm going to say walk at least 3 times a week. Do that 5K 3 times a week. That's my goal.
Okay. So you're looking to do a 5K walk 3 times a week.
Yeah, there's a route where we lived, and me and my husband just mapped it out, and I can literally do a 5K. It takes me about, right now, probably like almost 48 minutes, almost an hour to just walk it slowly, whatever. So maybe I get faster, because that's another win. If I walk it 3 times and I manage to get it faster. And the second thing is just to do it. Just to do it. I mean, for me, walking is the thing. I'm not going to spend the money on the gym personally until I know I'm going to be diligent to get up, because I don't have that kind of money to waste if I'm not going to use it, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to look for ways to keep our family active. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do. And I'm hoping that others in the community will partner with us in doing.
And don't be hard on yourself on the 48 minutes it takes to walk a 5K. I
don't mind.
A couple years ago, it might have been 38 minutes it took me to run a 5K. So, so don't worry about that. Carolina, what about yourself?
Well, I actually have, because in preparation for this, and also because our ministry has trying to get us to move for quite some time now. We had set up a couple of groups around like a couple of step challenges, and then the DG had the CIG step challenge recently. We also ended up joining the Live Well Solutions Challenge and stuff. So I've gotten into a good rhythm in terms of like at least the walking every day, trying to hit those 10,000 steps kind of thing. But now it's really in terms of my flexibility, like mobility, flexibility, and strength. So I'm hoping that maybe I can try to find a balance where I'm still getting that movement, hitting that 10,000 steps and whatnot, but then also adding on, trying to, get back to my yoga and whatnot. Because I think that's the other part of it too, in terms of, as you say, the negative self-talk and whatnot, but giving ourselves grace over the fact that when you start again, your body is not where you might have remembered it when you left off. Yeah. And I was like, there was a point there was I was doing a lot of yoga, and I was a lot more flexible than I am now. And then, this morning was the second time I got up and put on, my DVD to do my little yoga things. And I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, and your hips. And it's like, it feels so, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. It's just like, because all the pain, it was just on there. But it's just like, but it's again, it's like your body isn't what it used to be, but it doesn't mean that there isn't a new version of it that you can get to it. And it's just like, can still help you to get to that point. And, when you learn different things, and that grace that we need to give to ourselves. So I think, that flexibility, trying to get back to a little bit more on that. And as you mentioned, the strength training, because, it's time. Those, the muscles and the bones are going to need it. So, yeah.
Especially as women, as much as we don't like to admit it, the strength training is supposed to be a key for our longevity as well. So, Felicia, maybe one day we will see you in the gym, knowing that.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not going to set that goal because I want realistic goal setting.
And I like the honesty of that. And Caroline, when you were saying you used to go to yoga a lot, I've started going to yoga. I'm probably in my second full year now. I think my second full year. And I started with the wellness program that's offered through government with their reductions that they gave us. And I only went so I could stretch a little bit from the gym. And then I just really loved it because of what it does for my mental. And there's just so many benefits right there that I've seen. So would absolutely encourage people to try something new, even if you think it's really outside your comfort zone or that's not who you are. Because for me, yoga was not who I am. Give me high adrenaline impact, very competitive sports, and I'm there to win.
I like the yoga that I get to fall asleep in. That's my kind of yoga. That's how bad it is. Because with Jasmine, we would go to yoga and we'd get nice relaxing yoga, not the whole stretching. That was lovely for me. So
yoga nidra, that's what that was. The meditative process that's really in there. I feel you. And that's my favorite pose is the one where you're just lying down and almost sleeping.
Favorite pose.
But it's
not
that
the physical activity one we want, but that's what
No, but it's like your body needs that rest, right? Especially after you're doing other things. And I think that was the one thing that I really appreciated with that, because when I was trying to squeeze in that 45-minute class and whatnot, but still trying to make it to meetings. And I remember a few times where it's just like, okay, well, the shavasana, the final pose, right? So what you're trying to do is like, okay, I need to sneak up because now I need to get my shower in to go back to work and whatnot. And I remember my yoga instructor being like, no, like this is just as important as everything that you did leading up to this. And it's one of the very few kind of dedicated times that you have to just kind of check back in with your body and just rest, from that, like from the work that you've just done, So it's just like, I think that mindset as well, because again, hardcore competitive gym culture and whatnot coming back, the 90s and all that stuff. Like I said, it's like the weakness leaving your body kind of situation. And it's just like, it's just like kind of having that mind shift as well, It's just like your body needs rest, your body you don't need to earn it in some way, but it's just like even just in terms of doing that.
We got to go to the headline news. So our segment is over, but I'm going to give you the opportunity if there's anything you want to let our listeners know.
I think two things. First of all, I want everyone that's listening and then pass it on to go to gov.ky/Move It Cayman. That'll get them the link to sign up. If there's a community partner out there that we haven't gotten in touch with and you want to be a part of it, feel free to reach out to us. That website would also give them our contact information. They can reach out to us so we can partner with them. And I'm just hoping that everyone will take heed of this really important information. Join us in this National Movement Challenge and let's make Cayman healthier and get moving.
Excellent.
Fantastic. And, you're talking about competitive spirits. I'm hoping that this is going to bring out a little district versus district action and people kind of setting up, whether you have a beautification committee or a CERT team or whatever it is, you already have a group of people that you represent. And it's just like, and we get very sort of territorial with our, communities and stuff. Let's put that to work, and it's just like, join as a group, motivate each other. And then as we'll get into the details, I think next week around the apps and stuff that we're going to be using. And second, then you can actually see there's a scoreboard and people always get a little bit more competitive. And this is movement for all ages. So independently of, sort of where you're starting from, your ability and everything else, there are modifications. There's a place for everyone to start.
Okay, excellent. So gov.ky/Move It Cayman. I would like to know how many more signups we got in the week when I have my final interview about this whole series, which is next Tuesday. So thank you very much for joining me this morning, and to the minister as well, Minister Ebanks-Wilks, for joining us as well. I know she had to leave a little earlier. Thank you so much. And everybody can check out the interview fully on YouTube. Our whole series is up on there on our Radio Cayman channel. We're going to go to the 9 a.m., slightly past headline news, and then I have a talk about multiple sclerosis next.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
You're invited to a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the start of the final phase of enhancements to the George Dixon Park in East End. This will include the construction of a steel frame canopy for the courts, completion of BMX bike and walking tracks, park and court lighting upgrades, and upgraded utility services. The event is Thursday at 1:30 p.m. In international news, Israel's defense minister says its military has killed Iran's security chief in a strike. He was last seen in public in Tehran on Friday. Iran has not confirmed whether he's been killed or injured. Drones and rockets have been launched at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq's capital, Baghdad, in the second such attack of the war. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates has reopened its airspace after missile and drone threats from Iran forced it to close briefly. British Airways says it's suspending some flights to the Middle East until the end of May, quote, due to the continuing uncertainty of the situation. Iran has launched fresh strikes towards Israel, while Tehran's Ministry of Intelligence says it has confiscated, quote, hundreds of Starlink devices, which are used by some Iranians to access the internet. U.S. President Donald Trump is continuing his call on other nations, particularly NATO allies, to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping route. Those are your headlines. I'm Kersley Fuller.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and big thank you to my earlier guests as we were going over the Move It Cayman challenge. A reminder, go to gov.ky/Move It Cayman to join the challenge. And on this segment of The Buzz, we're talking about Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. It's a time to shed light on an autoimmune disease that attacks one's central nervous system, specifically the brain and the spinal cord, and often every aspect of a person's life. MS is sometimes called an invisible illness because many of those people living with it may look perfectly fine on the outside while managing fatigue, pain, and neurological challenges behind the scenes. It's also something that can change a life overnight, often affecting people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. I've seen firsthand through someone very close to me how life can shift after diagnosis. One of my very good friends was diagnosed just over a year ago with MS, and it's a devastating, incurable disease, and my friend's journey has been just heartbreaking. So it's important for me that we're having this conversation this morning. I'm thankful that we do have Alyssa Christian, who's a founder of the MS Society here in the Cayman Islands, joining us here to talk about what MS really looks like, what it is, and a bit about her experience because she was diagnosed with MS. I think it was in sometime in her early-ish 20s, but Alyssa's going to tell us all about that. So good morning. Welcome to the Buzz.
Morning. Thanks, Kathy.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
As you know, we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the past year because
have.
I've been asking you questions when it comes to
Yes.
MS and all the rest. So let's just get an overview. Let's start with what exactly MS is.
Yeah. So I was actually just at a doctor's appointment. We were having the same conversation. Is it autoimmune? Is it, genetics? Like what's really going on? So MS, as you said, attacks your central nervous system. So brain, spinal cord. So basically what happens is that protective coating around your nerves called the myelin sheath, that is what gets damaged. So the inner part of that nerve is exposed, which is why things happen that aren't really actually happening, right? So like if we took a wire and you took off the protective outer coating, that's kind of what's happening with your nerves. And so multiple means many, sclerosis means scars. And so if you look at somebody's MRI, a typical person with MS, you'll see lesions. And so that's what those lesions are. It's that scarring around the nerves on your brain and then spinal cord.
Okay. There's different types of MS.
Yeah, there's 4 different types. I would say relapsing remitting is probably the most common. It's kind of where everybody kind of starts, but it depends on when you were diagnosed. And so that just really means that you've got periods of remission and periods of relapse. And then it gets progressive as you go on to the other stages. Hopefully the goal is to not progress, which is where the meds come in and try to slow down that progression.
What are the symptoms? Because we refer to it as an invisible illness. And when I was looking a little bit of the research, I was like, but hold on, I have fatigue, blurred vision, some of these other things in there. So
yeah, it's a hard one, right? So no two people are identical. And so it's not, you can check all these boxes and yes, you've got MS, right? Some of them are just normal things, or they could be related to a spinal injury or disc injury. You know what I mean? Like there's all these other things that they could be. So kind of when you're going through that diagnostic period, it's, can we rule out everything else? Also, what does your MRI look like? When I was diagnosed, I didn't have lesions yet. So I wasn't textbook.
What were your symptoms, if I can ask that?
So when I started, it was just visual. Like I just kind of looked like somebody smeared what was in front of me. Like as if whatever I'm looking at is a painting and somebody just kind of smeared it. I was in no pain, nothing else. And so it was optic neuritis, happened 3 times. And that's when Dr. Foley was like, I think this is neurological. I think you have MS. And we were like, there's no way. I have no other symptoms. I'm in no pain, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wanted to diagnose me because I didn't have any lesions, but I had every other marker.
What do you mean nobody wanted to diagnose you?
I went to 13 different doctors.
What?
Over 3 years. Yeah. Yeah.
That is super concerning for me because I can say with my friend that I was referring to, she was misdiagnosed for a cancer.
Yeah.
And then developed MS.
I mean, I've heard it all. Like you're just type A, you're pregnant, you're this, you're that.
13 doctors is insane, Alyssa.
13 doctors. Well, you have to understand at that time, we didn't have a neurologist on island either. So it was visiting doctors. It was going away to see doctors. It was not an easy task. And then you throw in, you don't have lesions. But I met every other marker and we had ruled everything else out. So then after I had my first child is when I started having nerve pain, weakness, balance issues, all of that.
So before you go there, after visiting all these doctors and nobody wanted to diagnose you with MS, it was just, we'll see what happens?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was pregnant at like my checkup and they were like, well, MS is suppressed by pregnancy. So if after you have your baby and you have other symptoms, then we'll kind of know. Had other symptoms, no, it's still not MS.
Were you not freaking out with having a child as well?
Yeah, it was really scary because eventually everybody went back to work and it was just me and him. And so there were days I couldn't hold him and I was crying and I was in pain, and it was I knew at that point it was MS, right? Like, cards on the table, we had ruled all the other things out. I knew this had to be. But nobody wanted to make the call. I just wanted to know what to do next. And then found a really great visiting neurologist here, really liked her, had a relapse, messaged her, and she was like, well, unfortunately, I'm not coming back to Cayman again. Let me refer you. So I went to Cleveland Clinic with my huge stack of medical results and MRIs and all the things, prepared to just start over again. And luckily, my doctor within 5 minutes was like, this is MS. I don't understand what the problem is. There is 5% of patients who never get lesions, or you just don't have them yet. So I was just really grateful, to have a diagnosis and a way forward. And then
when you got that diagnosis officially from the doctor, how was your reaction?
I was relieved.
You were relieved.
I was relieved because it'd been years of suffering and nobody wanted to make this call. There are other people who are diagnosed immediately, right? Now, they obviously have lesions and they have much more severe symptoms, I should say. And I know it sounds strange, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I was you. I wish I had something so big right then and there that I could have just gotten my answer 3 years before.
But your MS was starting to progress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was after you had your son, your first child, that your MS then started to progress.
Yeah.
What was the progression?
So within 2 weeks of having him, I had optic neuritis again. I had nerve pain, especially in my arms, and really like weakness, like to the point I couldn't hold him for periods of time.
And nerve pain was brand new.
Brand new. Yep. Balance issues. Then luckily Health City came in and Dr. Ramnesh reached out. He was our first real neurologist in Cayman. So super grateful that he reached out to us, and they have been supporting me and the foundation and all MS patients. But now that I know, I can trace back symptoms probably to high school.
Okay, can you elaborate?
So I had migraines, fatigue. There's another one, brain fog. That's another MS symptom.
Something I get a lot. Yes.
The MS hug.
What's this?
So it really feels like somebody's squeezing you. So you can't take like that deep cleansing breath. It just kind of feels stuck, and you just can't get that deep breath, which is why I started going. Like, I remember being home from university and going to one of our hospitals and being told, oh, you're just type A personality.
That's nuts.
Well, yeah, I am, but that's not what's going on here.
Yeah.
And at that point,
I love that you say that. Yeah. I know who I am, but I also know that there's something else going on.
Wrong.
Do not dismiss me.
Are you pregnant? No, I'm not pregnant.
Because now you must be
so yeah,
crazy.
Now you're crazy. And then being told, well, oxygen's going in. Well, duh. I'm still breathing. I know that. So, I've heard it all. So again, like when I got my diagnosis, I was just so happy to know, because I had a way forward then, and we had a plan, and we could do something about it. Because my philosophy, like, if I can't change it, right? There's no point in being upset, and I can't change it.
Well, it's not curable.
It's not.
I have read some reports recently on a few cases where MS has disappeared from the person.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about treatment. So when you did find out that you do have MS, what were the treatment options available to you?
So I started with a medication called Ebanks. So it's an intramuscular injection once a week. Typically, and I think we've established nothing about my body has been typical so far. So typically when you take Ebanks, within 3 hours, they tell you you're going to get flu-like symptoms for about 24 hours. So I was like, yeah, I got this. That's no big deal. I can handle that. Flu-like it is like nothing I've ever experienced. It felt to me what I imagine people who have like bone cancer feel. Like I had aches and pains in my body, places I didn't even know existed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get comfortable. I just cried. I just cried all night long. And it's only supposed to happen the first time. For me, it happened for 12 weeks. And eventually I told Dr. Emmett, I said, if I continue, I will become suicidal because this is horrific.
Yeah.
And that was every weekend. So I was out for 2 days of my weekend, Friday night into Saturday.
And you have a child. You have a baby.
And I had 2 babies at that point.
Oh.
So we agreed, and Dr. Emmett, he was great and said, your medication shouldn't give you worse symptoms than your disease, 100%. And I tried to stick it out, thought maybe it'd get better. So then we switched to an oral medication that gave me severe vertigo, and I don't like to feel like that. And then that was the time where Ocrevus was still kind of new. I didn't realize, and it's an approval process for a hospital or clinic to get Ocrevus. And I didn't realize we had already started. So I said, can we start the approval for Ocrevus? Can we get that process started? I would like to be on Ocrevus.
Was this on your own research that you were looking now, or was it recommended?
Well, we had talked about Ocrevus. Okay. Other people had been on it in the States.
Okay.
We in Cayman didn't have it.
Gotcha.
What I didn't realize that they had already done the approval process and people had already started here. So that was an easy, let's start this. And I don't know how many years we are into this now. My youngest is 5, so 6-7 years maybe I've been on it.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it. It's twice a year. I go to Health City for the day. It's an infusion. I do feel a little bit rough the first week and a half.
When you say rough?
Brain fog. Well, let me back up. So they give you a dose of paracetamol. They give you a small steroid and an antihistamine just to make sure we don't get any side effects, allergic reactions, all those kind of things. That sits in for an hour, and then you get the Ocrevus infusion. And that takes, if we start about 8 or 9, I'm usually done by about 3. So it's an all-day process. Mm-hmm. I know within probably an hour or 2 of getting home, I get a migraine. Not everybody does. I get a migraine that is unlike any other. So I'm usually up to about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just because it's so painful I can't sleep. And then for the next week, I'm just a bit fatigued, brain fog. Just, my body's tired. I'm not sleepy, it's just my body is tired. And then it starts to kind of kick in. And then everything just feels normal again. In about 2 weeks, I feel like I'm at my peak for about 5 months. And then month 5, everything starts to decline again. So
I understand this is called the crap gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. And it kind of depends, it depends on, I really try to manage my stress and diet that last month.
Okay.
Because I've noticed the more stressed I am, the worse my symptoms are.
Yeah.
So things will start to kind of come back. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, I have my infusion. I need to book that. Sometimes I'm like, am I going to make it?
Was it, I know from my friend, the first 2 infusions that she's had, right when she's taken the infusions, it's, she's felt bad for almost a week as well. Mm-hmm. But then it was that crap gap, so that it's about 6-week period for her where it's just devastating. Like everything is debilitating for her. And I'm like, how do you hang on? And why do you have to wait 6 weeks? Why can't it happen right now? So do you remember in the beginning with your infusions, if it was similar for you like that? Did it get better? Did your infusions get better? Because this is my hope for her is just hold on, girl. It's gonna.
So the infusions are 6 months apart.
Yeah.
The first infusion, they give you half a dose, and then 2 weeks later, you get the second half. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't feel anything that first time, and I remember thinking, is this even working?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's scary because you want it so desperately to work.
Of course.
And then eventually I was like, oh, maybe this does feel okay. And then month 5 kind of hit, and you're like, ugh. So I think she's only had 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it does get better. And I think they do say like it takes a couple for it to really start kind of doing its thing. There is hope. There is hope. And I know, I've always said my diagnosis, I was so thankful and I was just so relieved. But month 5 is hard for me. And I always tell patients that MS is a grieving process. It's a lifelong grieving process. And while most of the time I'm very grateful, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm grateful for my MS and what it's allowed me to, one, meet incredible people and have friends that I would have never had. 2, I'm able to help other people who have it. 3, you kind of find a strength you never knew you really had because you have no other option. Yeah. But that month 5, I tell you, like, that is my grieving month. Like, I am sad. I am angry.
What do you do to get through it? What kind of support do you also need as somebody who has MS? I'd like to know because I'd like to best support my friend too.
It depends on the person, right? Like, I'm not that person where I don't like attention. I don't want the I'm so sorry's. Like, I kind of just retreat, you know? I'm just like, if I can make it to something, I'll make it to it. If I can't, I can't. And that's been hard because I think that's been my biggest lesson is I'm a doer and I don't like to stop and I don't slow down. And I actually thrive in stressful situations.
Me too. I don't know why.
It's not healthy.
Why can't I thrive in peaceful situations? But yeah, I get it.
Sure. And so for me, resting was like a sign of weakness. And I've been diagnosed for 11 years now. So giving myself that grace and permission that I'm not being lazy, I'm letting my body heal, I'm giving myself a gift, that's hard. Yeah. And it's hard with 3 kids. You know, if I have to miss football or I can't make it to this or, you know, dad has to be there instead of me, that's very tough as a mother. But I've learned to pace myself and pick and choose, and my kids are very understanding. But that's also a guilt. You know, they shouldn't have to understand and give me that grace and permission to heal and be sick. But month 5 is hard. It's hard. I mean, there's a lot of tears.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tears, and there's a lot of I can't do it today. I just can't face the world.
Yeah.
You know, and that was only 2 weeks ago for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and I have a few friends that I can really confide in that won't. I'm going to get emotional now.
Well, I'm one eye is crying of mine, so it's.
You know, I have the friends that won't do the, oh my God, you know, we're so sorry. They get me through it. And you've got this. And I've got a really great friend. And my very, 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 very first infusion, I said, what if it doesn't work? What if? Because I had 2 other non-successful
treatments.
Actually, I lie. I had 3 because I went into 3 times a week subcutaneous injections.
Okay.
And they weren't hard. It's just that they left a really hard welt for about 2 weeks. And so you think you're doing that 3 times a week. Your body is only so big. You run out of space, right? And then I had young kids and we were putting them to bed and my husband had to do it because I can't inject myself. I could, but I didn't want to. That's just horrific for me. And it just wasn't easy for my lifestyle. I know it sounds silly, but
No, but I get it, because at the same time you don't want this disease to all of a sudden determine, no, this is the life you're going to lead now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I want to go to bed, I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed and have to wake up and we're half asleep injecting me with stuff, right? And so anyway, so I had a good friend and I said, what if it doesn't work? Because that was my biggest fear. What then? This is my last kind of line of defense here. And she just said, you can't think like that. You have to go in and you have to meditate, and you have to visualize this going into your body and healing you. And that's what I've done. That's what I did. I actually visualize it healing and repairing my nerves and my body. And last year, I had one new lesion. And that to me was terrifying. And I'm always prepared. I know it sounds ridiculous. And I think people with MS we just have these irrational thoughts. Every year, I'm like, when I do my MRI, I'm like, this is the year. This is the year they're going to find a brain tumor and they can cut it out and I'm going to be fixed. And it's not been MS this whole time. Oh. Every year. Now, how ridiculous. I could deal with that news. But one tiny new lesion freaked me out. Mm-hmm. But that lesion to me meant reality. Like, this really is a possibility of progressing. And what does that mean for my future? Luckily this year I've had no new lesions, so I'm very grateful. And Dr. Remna showed me my scans, and there is, like, I have a friend who's had MS much longer than me, and she's amazing. And her doctors at one point told her they couldn't tell her she was cured, but they could tell her there's no evidence of an active disease. So you couldn't see her lesions.
No way.
My lesions no longer look like hard dots. They're more of like a smudge, if you will, a white smudge. Gotcha. So where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's huge. They're not, Dr. Ramesh said, your scans are an ideal situation for somebody with MS.
Wow.
Which is hard. It's so bizarre because then you still feel it, right? So yeah, it's gotten better, right? But it's still, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's the scariest part, is you don't know what the next minute brings, what the next hour brings, what the next day, the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm learning with my friend's diagnosis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
And I've had people say to me, oh, well, you were fine 2 minutes ago. Yeah, I was. Absolutely, I was. Mm-hmm. But that's the reality.
Yeah. The show has come to an end, but I got to ask you a couple questions here. This is way too short for this kind of discussion that we're having this morning. And I knew it was going to be short. So I would love to have a much more in-depth conversation about MS, especially because, I'm concerned for my friend and trying to be there for support as best as I can, and not knowing what I'm doing. But with the MS Foundation, can you tell us what kind of services or support that you do offer MS, I guess, patients in Cayman? And do we have a number of how many people have MS in Cayman?
We don't, because of data protection, right? But we are estimating about 100 plus.
Geez, I thought it was between 25 and 30 for some reason. No. Wow, 100 plus. Okay, wow.
Probably, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
Numbers are growing. It's actually quite scary for our population.
Yeah. I didn't expect that.
And as many, there's a 1.5% chance of MS being passed on to a child. Very small percentage. So we've always said MS is not genetic.
Right.
There's a 2.7% chance siblings get it, right? No family history, usually. There's 3 sets of sisters in Cayman with MS.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more still being uncovered with MS.
There's a lot we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, we are. And I say we, the world. Yeah. And there's so much unknown. But as a foundation, we provide patients and their support system, whether that's family, friends, whoever that might be. We support patients and their support systems with financial and emotional support.
Yeah.
because we know this is not something somebody does alone, or they can't do it alone. They shouldn't have to do it alone. MS is also incurable, so it's lifelong. And it's not cheap.
No.
It is not. I was looking at my bills for my infusion 2 weeks ago, and oh man.
Yeah.
Not cheap. Plus, you know, that's twice a year. Then you throw in an MRI, and that's bare minimum.
Yeah.
We're not talking about all the other stuff that goes along with that, or if there's a relapse or other wellness initiatives that aren't covered that can help. And then there's education to the community as well, because people just still really aren't educated.
Yeah.
So thank you for being a good friend and human and educating yourself and trying to understand, how can I fit into this and how do I support this friend or other people, because so many people just don't. And the questions we've been asked and the reactions people have had, you're like,
yeah. It really makes me, it breaks my heart, man. Trust me.
I know.
There's way more of a conversation we can have. And you definitely touched on the mental health aspect of it, which we didn't get to touch at all. But I know it's pretty severe when it comes to MS patients. I wish there's so much more we could talk about. So we have got to continue this conversation.
Of course.
If people who have MS or are trying to support somebody with MS, how can they reach out to the foundation to, I guess, learn what to do?
Yeah. So you can email us at info@msfcayman.com. You can also WhatsApp me or call me 323-0656. And if anybody does have MS, so we do have a patient care coordinator. So she and I usually meet with any new patient who's open to meeting. Of course, no pressure. We do like wellness days. And then we have a WhatsApp support group. And so we kind of just all chat and ask questions and check in. And, you know, if we can't, we're busy. We all have, you know, real lives, and try not to let MS overtake us. And so, you know, if we can't meet every month or every quarter, we're in touch.
Okay. And I'm publicly going to say it.
Okay.
That I am very much here to help with your foundation in any way I can. So
I know, you're
I'm
the
just
best.
publicly saying it. However you
you.
need help, let me know.
We will take you
because
up
I'm
on that.
trying to help as much as I can, especially as, you know, my friends in this now. And
absolutely.
However I can, I'm going to do it. So
thank you.
No problem. Thanks for joining me. Sorry it was so short. Thank you for sharing some of your experience with us this morning. I think it's so important. And kudos to you, because you have been doing incredible things and really trying not to let MS hinder you in any way. And I know the strength that takes, and I'm blown away.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Everybody else, have a great Thursday out there. Thanks for hanging out with us it's Tuesday. It's not Thursday. See where my mind is. I guess I'll be back with you on Thursday. I have also a really exciting conversation coming up on Thursday with Felicia Adderley of Women's Haven. It's going to be a super in-depth one-on-one conversation. She's a fantastic entrepreneur and mom, and she's doing incredible things out there. So I'm excited for that conversation come Thursday as well. I can't forget about Thursday. All right. Have a great Tuesday, everybody else.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. Should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC has given us some trouble. Sorry folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman, your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman.